Hi friends, Mayor Moreno here with your City Council recap from Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. So we had three public hearings that evening. So we don't usually have three. That was a lot of public hearings to have in one night. So the first one had to do with a Proposition 218. It's called a majority protest vote related to sewer rate increases. Now, if you are on septic, this does not at all apply to you. But those of you on sewer, you've probably known over the last several years, this is our third year in the row, where we are gradually raising sewer fees. And that's because we hadn't done it for 26, 27 years. So since 1993, our sewer rates have remained the same. So we hadn't increased with the cost of inflation, just simple cost of living. And so you can see, if you look in the staff report, and I have a link to it here, you can see that we are still at the bottom in terms of sewer rates in the county. And so the majority protest vote is that if a majority of people who are affected by this were to protest and say no, then we couldn't legally do it. We had just a small number, I'm trying to remember, it was less than 5. And then a couple of individuals who spoke. So that is going through effective July 1. If you have questions about that, please do let us know. Secondly, we looked at amendments to Title IX, Chapter 17 of our Municipal Code, and this was amendments to allow non-storefront retail cannabis delivery. So currently in the city, we do allow delivery of cannabis product into Atascadero, but currently the business that does the delivery cannot have their base operation in Atascadero. And so with this vote, we changed that so that that business can locate here and deliver from there. The Planning Commission had added a certain security provision in terms of a backup power source in case something were to fail. We want to make sure this type of business has the security in place, and of course any business would want that security in place because currently it's a cash business, and so there is risk associated with that. Be clear, this is not storefront, or I think some people have thought we're talking delivery and retail, so maybe it's drive-through. No, this is not a facility where anyone comes to transact business, but a facility from which the business owner will do their business and take it then to be delivered. Again, any questions, reach out. And then finally, we had some updates to our zoning code, so some zone text amendments and changes. There was a good number of them. We actually went back over this in February, so if you remember my recap from back then, and if you were part of that meeting, you noticed the reason this happens is number one, often there are changes in California, and then we have to change our code appropriately. We had our housing element recently that we passed last year, and so there are certain changes within the zoning code that need to be made to accommodate changes within the housing element. And then sometimes it's just, over the years or decades, things get changed in the building code, but then they don't get changed in the zoning code. So it's trying to keep things consistent and just clean up some things from time to time. So in looking at my notes, just some simple things like removing the covered parking requirement for multifamily developments, because sometimes that can add an extra burden to multifamily development, making it more costly, and you don't end up with an attractive, carport. You just kind of end up with these, covers that aren't necessarily all that attractive or useful, and so we got rid of that. Some things looking at the fence and wall height standards for retaining walls, detached accessory structures. We wanted to make it easier for folks to get those, but also keeping in mind that if you're right up against a neighbor, we don't want someone building a big huge accessory structure 5 feet from your property line if your house is right there. So we had a significant amount of conversation about that. Let's see, residential multifamily zone heights, ag uses, just some different things. By the way, ag uses, it all stayed the same. We had to change the languaging because of the housing element and what California has done with their own code, and it's a big long thing. But just know, if you live in an area with property where you've always been able to do some like hobby farming, things like that, that doesn't change. And then just a lot of other cleanup things, nothing huge. But if you've got any questions about any of that, again, reach out. And again, old school, best way to contact me is email. Heather, no, that's my, I've got 3 email addresses like the rest of us do, right? hmoreno@atascadero.org. And that's it for now. I look forward to seeing you at a coming meeting or hearing from you via email or seeing you out at the farmer's market, because we got some beautiful weather and they got some good strawberries and green onions and olive oil and honey and alfalfa. Or I shouldn't say alfalfa, cloves, like the greens, the microgreens. I guess that's the thing you say. Alfalfa, where did that come from? But anyway, some great bread. So get out there at the farmer's market and enjoy the start of summer. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.